Hello everyone, it's Lorica here. It's that time of the month. I'm going to talk about what I've been up to this month of November and some plans for December. I am very impressed with myself for November. It's like, can I pat myself on the back? Um, I did a lot of work this month. Really, really. I feel very, very good about it. I started on my next writing project, done quite a bit already on that. I got some stuff printed out and done some. I like to write by hand, so I have my little notebook with me that I just write in. So feel really, really stoked about it. Um, yeah, and so let me start with the books that I've read because that's also been going pretty good for November. I think the reason for it, first of all, is I think because where I live here in Sweden, the days are getting shorter and shorter. I mean, everywhere, but here especially, doesn't get so bright light. So when the weather out there changes, it feels like it's a good time for me to come into my insides, not just inside the home, but in my soul. So that way I can, it helps me with my creative process, with reading when the weather is a little like this, right? So yeah, so I'm going to go through my books that I read this month. And the first one I have talked about already, that my husband gave me as a surprise gift, and it's Bread of Angels by Patti Smith. And oh my God, I love this book so much. I will put a link below because I'm not going to talk about it again, except to say that this is my favorite Patti Smith book. And I mean, I have read Just Kids so many times, but this one, there's just something about it that just really touched me. Yeah, beautiful book. So have a look at the review and try and get it. If you have read it, let me know what you thought. And then the next book was a bit of a. I've been looking for this particular story in this book forever, and I haven't been able to get hold of it. And then I decided to try my local library. Now we have a very tiny library in this little town where I live, and my neighbor said to me, "Why don't you order the books, like reserve them, because you can do that online?" And I thought, yeah, why didn't I do that? Because there's no English books in my library. There's only like a small row of a few English books. So I thought, okay, so I went online and I decided to start with this book, search for this book. And it was there. It wasn't in our library, but it was available. I just had to reserve it. So I reserved it and I picked it up, and now I read The Yellow Wallpaper by Charlotte Perkins Gilman. Wow, this book. I think it was written, it says here, in 1892, so it's quite an old book, old story. And this is like it's like a short story collection, and the first one is The Yellow Wallpaper. Oh my God. I'm glad it was so short because I don't think I could have handled it if it was a long book. It's basically the story of a woman who is losing her mind. That's it. And she and her husband goes to the country, and she's in this room with this weird yellow wallpaper, and she starts seeing things in the wallpaper, and maybe a ghost story, I don't know. It's just a story about somebody that's losing their mind. And yeah, it was hard to read, but I'm glad I finally read it because it's been on my to-read list forever. So I don't know if I have the guts to read it again but it was really good. So yeah, see if you can find that even in your local library. I would be curious to hear who else has read this book and what they thought, because I think some people that I've looked at reviews and that talk about that maybe it's the husband, and I didn't read it like that. I don't know. You tell me what you think. And then after this heavy book and Patti Smith, which is beautiful, but it was super touching and intense. Her books always touch me deeply. I decided it was time for something light. So I saw this was on 99 cents special or pence on Amazon in the UK. And it was written by Jonathan Kellerman. It's called Serpentine, and it's part of the Alex Delaware crime novels. So, I love this series of Jonathan Kellerman. You can call it a series, but you can skip books as much as you like. You don't have to read them back to back. And it's about this Alex Delaware is a psychologist that consults for the LAPD, Los Angeles Police Department, and he works with Detective Milo Sturgis, I think his surname is, and they work together on solving some of the more psychological kind of crimes, or crimes that's got some heavy psychology attached to it. And yeah, we just follow them as they solve these crimes. And this book is a cold case, which I haven't read a cold case from them yet. It was very good. A woman just came. They got this case where this woman wanted to know what really happened to her mother, who died many years ago, and the case just went completely cold. And this is the story that follows. And what I like about Jonathan Kellerman's novels, his crime novels, is that, oh man, it's just, you feel comfortable when you start reading it. Even if it's hard stories, you just know that in the end, it's going to work out. The good's going to get over the bad. And, you just know it's going to be a good ending. There's no... the baddies win and the good people are just down. No, right is right, wrong is wrong, and you have it nicely laid out. I love that. So sometimes I need that after reading some heavy books. So I love that book. And then I'm busy with another book. I'm almost half, maybe third half. It's a book by Anne Rice, and it's part of the Vampire Chronicles, and it's called Blackwood Farm. You see it there. And I also got this book from my local library, so I'm rediscovering the library because I love libraries, but because I went in there once and I joined and there were no English books, and I thought, oh, well, it is what it is. And then when my neighbor told me I should just check and see if I can order the books, reserve them from other libraries in the region. So, okay, why not? And it works. So anyway, so reading this, this is my first Anne Rice read actually, because I have Interview with a Vampire on my list to read. But when I saw this book, I thought, well, let me just take it out. Maybe it's a sign. And it's a very long book. So I'm halfway and I don't know if I'm going to be able to finish it before I have to take it back. So we'll see, but I'm enjoying it. Like I say, this is the Chronicles, but I haven't read any of the others. I just started with this, and it's definitely not the first book, but I'm not missing anything. I don't feel I'm missing anything. So yeah, so that is all the books that I've read this month. But I've also read some other things this month, or did some other things this month, which is, let me get this out. So part of what I'm doing for my new writing project is I'm doing some research. And I read this thesis that was written by a South African woman who is busy with her degree or master's degree of African European cultural relations. And the heading of it is You Have Witchcraft on Your Lips, How a Coven of White Afrikaans-speaking witches negotiate their craft in the context of past and present. Oh, wow, what a read. I really appreciated this thesis because my culture is super religious in the Christian tradition. And anything that has anything to do with magic or witches or Wicca or pagan, it just is evil. It gets pushed out. But I find it interesting that we have these weird things in our culture. Like we call them, for example, boererate. It's like farmers' tips or something like that, if I have to translate it or try to. And it's how in the past, a lot of the voortrekkers, the pioneers, used herbs and things for healing purposes, like honey helps for a cough and that. And that's what pagans do, right? So there's already that thing. And the other thing is what we call met die helm gebore, which means born with, I don't know, there's no word for it, but it's somebody that's born, will come out of the womb with the sac, the birth still around them. And then we say they are born gebore met die helm gebore, which is like now these people are people that know things. They can predict a little bit of the future. They know when something's going to happen, that kind of thing. So very interesting. So we have that in our culture, but we say that anything witchy is evil and pagan is bad and whatnot. So reading this was really good because I have been wondering if there are Afrikaner women who are witches, because we so live close to nature. A lot of Afrikaners in super nature and very much connected to land and plants and things like that. So she discovered a coven of Afrikaner women, 3 of them, and she interviewed them and wrote this white paper about it. I'll put a link in for anybody who's interested, and it was really, really fascinating. I really enjoyed that. And then the other thing I'm doing is 2 courses, or actually 3. I forgot about this one. I did, I have a writing tutor. I used to go to this writing school in London years ago called the Creative Writing School or something like that. And it was quite well known in London at that time. And it was run by Maggie Hammond, and she partnered with Sean Levine. And together they taught these classes, and it was always full and waiting lists. And I was very lucky to have gotten in, and I did it for a few years, and it really helped my writing. But Sean now has these courses that he presents on it's an online it's an online teaching place. It starts with a D. I'll put it down below on the link, down on the page here. Anyway, so he has a few courses, and I decided to do one just for old time's sake because I'm starting a new project, and when he teaches is always inspiring for me. So that really, really was good for me while starting this new book. So I will link to him as well below. So I did that course. It was quite quick to do because I know a lot of the things already. And then I did... I'm busy with 2 more courses, and one is like a sociology course. It's called The Foundations for Modern Social Theory. It's also online. This one is a free course online, and I think it's Yale University that has this on their site, or on one of these sites that have free courses. And it's really interesting. So I'm really enjoying it. It's an introduction to this social theory, and it talks about all these guys like Hobbes and Locke and Rousseau and Adam Smith. And so I majored in sociology at university, and it was one of my favorite classes. So when I saw this, I thought, oh, it would be nice to refresh a little bit. So I'm doing that. And then the final thing I'm doing is a course by Pema Chodron, online class that she presents. And I really just love it. It's a Buddhist course about the 37 verses of the Bodhisattva. So really, really, it's all about loving kindness and how to live a good life. So that's the other thing I'm doing. And then, hold on. And then I made a book as well. So you can see it's been a crazy busy month. It's like overwhelming just thinking of it. I made a little book by hand from cardboard and old papers and imagery and things. And I will also link it below on the website, to my website, where there's a little story with it. So you can see it like this. Just a little very short little book. And yeah, I've got a little story with that, just a few lines. So that was all the things I did this month. And I feel like very good. I mean, how? It's just fantastic. So for next month, when we come to December, I have 2 books that I want to read, and then continue with this Anne Rice book and these courses that I'm doing and my writing. But the 2 books that I'm planning on reading are both crime books, and the first one is a buddy read that I'm going to do with Julie from Bookish Travels and Candy from The Great Literary Rabbit Hole. And we are going to read, what is it called now? A Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens. And it's also part of, Julie has I think it's a Dickens read, December. So I'll link all of that below for you if you're interested in joining that. And then I'm also going to read a book for the Candy Reading Challenge that's on the Storygraph. And it is called Murder by Candlelight. It is in my bookshelf, and I've looked for it, but I couldn't find it just now, so before I made the video. But it's called Murder by Candlelight, and it's a bunch of short stories that have like crime stories that has to do with winter, and that I think it has a Christmassy vibe too. The reason I'm reading that book for the reading challenge of December is that the reading challenge of December is read a book with a theme of winter or snow on the front, and this book has it, even has it in the title, So so that's been my very exciting, very productive month. And I don't know why I felt I didn't do much this month until I made my list of what I wanted to talk about. And I'm like, whoa, I did quite a bit. So yes, so I hope you had a wonderful November, and you are getting ready for December, the winter, or summer if you're in the Southern Hemisphere, Christmas and all those things. So thank you for listening to me for this long. I wish you a wonderful day further, and speak to you soon. Bye for now.